Hi, I'm Jay. I'm Diversity Inclusion Manager for Omnicom Media Group in the UK. I've just attended my first Be Inspired event and I think it was amazing. I was a panelist, but I've also learnt so much from everyone who was here, including the audience and the other guests. I think we need more events like these. These really help to speak to our community directly, create safe spaces for people to ask tough questions and give young people an opportunity to network with people whose industry they want to join. So I will definitely be back. Thank you, Lucia, for inviting me, and congratulations on doing something really important.
Hi, my name is Darcy Shantakuma. I work at London Partners as a corporate affairs executive. What Lucia's doing with these events is so great. She's bridging a gap that we didn't even think that existed. So whenever I speak to her and whenever I go to these kind of events, what she's doing is she's creating opportunities for people that haven't seen what this role is. Something I always say, and she completely agrees with, is there's a job role for every single person. You just don't know what the title is. And she's exposing people to all these titles: planners, strategists, designers, video designers. She just has figured it out. And by connecting these people at such a young age, she's almost solving the problem that's always been there.
Hi, I'm Hitten Bat, Creative Director at RAP UK. I thought this event was amazing. I've been in the industry now for about 21 years, and nothing like this was around at that time. So coming to an event like this and seeing lots of young people talk about creativity and how to break into the creative industry is great. So yeah, I'll be coming to more like this, definitely. And I think I totally recommend anyone that wants to get into the creative industry to come to events like this and grow their network.
I was born to do this. This is what it is. When you know what's right in your gut and it's your job, you have to fight for it. I'm relentless. I don't care. We have to get to a championship. We have to win a ring every time. And I touch everything within the realms of being creative. And if there's something else I want to go learn or I don't know, I go do it. And with knowing all that, as I direct, I'm able to be more hands-on. Some dope characteristics for a creative director for Revolt. It should be so simple. Are you you? Are you proud of who you are? I love everything there is to be about me. I love being black. I love culture. I love art. It's just me.
Hi guys, my name is Lucia and I'm the founder of Be Inspired. So Be Inspired is a platform that connects budding creatives who want a career in the creative industries to budding professionals, people that have been in the industry for a very long time, and then also connecting them to opportunities within the industry. So if you want to know more about Be Inspired, check us out on our website at www.beinspiredseries.com. So today we have the amazing Dunnie West, the creative director for REVOLT TV and Media, and he's worked with so many amazing people, including Diddy, Chris Brown, and like the list goes on. So I'm so excited to invite him on the stage so that you can hear an inspiring story that would help you kickstart your career in the industry. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I kept hitting the mute. I definitely do. I did have a morning shot because it's evening for y'all, so I'm trying to balance it out.
No worries. Thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to just tell us a bit about yourself, who you are?
Yeah, let's do it. Dunnie West. I got a legal name, but I'll never tell y'all. I've been a creator for a very, very long time, since I was about 16, 17. Literally do everything you can possibly think of, going to always learn more. And I worked my way up from doing like club flyers to being creative director for an entire television network.
Nice. Okay. So do you want to just tell us a bit about how you kind of started your journey as a creative in this crazy industry?
Yeah. Man, this is y'all ready for the juice? All right. So I said I started early. I was definitely always into art. Was doing graffiti and stuff when I was 16, 17, 18. I even got to teach it for the state of California when I was like 18 to some kids. Me and my best friend did that. Probably wasn't the smartest thing though, teaching like a bunch of like 5, 6-year-olds like how to do graffiti. But hey, I got a check out of it, and I had a blast. That really showed me early on too, like the power of like seeing somebody who looks like us, like within the worlds of art. Where I grew up, we didn't really have that many people to look up to. So that was kind of interesting. Used that. I took a couple classes in college. I hated college, to be honest. I never finished. The shit was corny to me. I didn't like the curriculum. I didn't like the teachers. I didn't really care for it. I just took what I learned about the programs and dipped. Jumped into creating a magazine with my best friend. And it did really good. It was a local magazine. It was all about urban culture. We were releasing it ourselves. We would, build it for about 28, 29 days straight. And then we would do a hard 24-hour design session. And we would design 40 pages in one night. And we would we were super broke. We only had one laptop. So we would literally trade the laptop back and forth after finishing pages while sleeping on the floor, just to get the shit done. And it was a print and e-magazine at the time. This is before like e-magazines were like popping. So we still did go do physical print. I was doing some kind of like weirdo stuff when I had a job at Staples. So I kind of got them for free and go print them and just drop them out over the city. Got some really good buzz. Met a lot of cool people through that. And it introduced me to like the music side of the creative industry, right? I kind of was always thinking very, very big at that time. Was like, oh, I'm gonna create a magazine and it's gonna do all this great stuff. Not really realizing how fucking hard it is to do a magazine, especially two guys who have absolutely no money getting it done. So through that, these music artists that we were interviewing, they loved the magazine. They're like, yo, would you be interested in doing my album cover? And I've always been fascinated with album covers, especially like music rollouts and everything, especially during that time too, before, pre-social media, when print and commercial were very, very big in the marketing of a project. So I always had wondered for the longest time too, is like, who are the people who really get to craft like these stories behind the projects? Yeah. So of course I'm working with local artists, and it was cool. Like I got to have a lot of freedom early on too, which is great. Like the artists really trusted me. They trusted my vision. So it was really a great experience. And I kind of got that bug, that itch. Like I want to get the biggest artist. I want to have Kanye, Pharrell, Swiss Beats, Puff. I want to work with the biggest artists and create some of the most memorable artwork. When I was younger, I had, I collected like vinyl covers, the records, like the old school records, the wax joints. I had them all over my wall in my room, and I'd wake up every day and just look and study how they were creating that art, like pre-Photoshop, pre-Adobe. A lot of them were doing this shit by hand or some like really funky programs and stuff. So I was fascinated by the fact that like they made such beautiful art with such limited tech, that I have all the tools in front of me now. Like, how do I bring the same inspiration of classic art with, using, digital tools and stuff? So I always just like, I want to create the most classic shit ever. But at the same time, I was a hustler. I wanted to get paid. I wanted money. I had bills. So part of me was doing a lot of kind of like bullshit stuff, like club flyers, cheap logos, t-shirt designs, anything I could that was creative. I was happy to take it, but it really wasn't my passion, but I wanted to get paid. So I was constantly just doing whatever it took, and there was a time I remember I was stressing over like $20. Like somebody didn't pay me $20 for a flyer. And I was like stressing out, like, how am I going to get this $20 from this person? Because I didn't know anything. I didn't know about contracts. I didn't know about how to cover myself, deposits, nothing. I was literally learning every single interaction with every new client, something new about the industry and the business. And there was no big brother. There was nobody helping me like learn the ins and outs. My entire education was built off of fuck ups. But I'm proud of that though, because I never let the same thing happen to me twice. So It just made me constantly better and better. I don't even really look at this fuck ups. Like, I know that's the word, but it was more so like I was getting the same education that people were getting in college and spending $80,000 on. I was getting real time, but I was actually getting paid for my education because I decided just to be out here in these streets and get it.
So just a quick question. So you said that you started doing work that wasn't obviously the path that you wanted to take. So what do you kind of think about people not being paid for kind of like the value in the beginning? Like, how did you like continue pushing through when you knew that you had a value in XYZ, but then like you were making like just club flyers and it wasn't really what you were kind of capable of doing?
That's a great question. So part of it was building confidence within myself to be able to attack the situation and communicate with the client my true value. I'll be honest, even till today, even where I'm at in my career, I still go through dips where I don't feel like I should be here, where I don't feel all the way confident sometimes in my ideas. Sometimes it's just my surroundings or it's the people I'm working with who, may not be at the same caliber, who kind of like bog me down, but it's all like a self-confidence thing. I remember the first time I got a job for like $1,000, and it was the biggest thing in the world to me. Like, I had anxiety for weeks over it. I was doing extra research and study. It was with the UFC clothing company, and I would never really did anything in UFC before. I kind of understood the basics of like what that audience was looking for, but I felt extremely nervous. And I was like, it's $1,000. This is a big fucking deal. I was like, couldn't sleep at night. Literally, I was freaking out over $1,000 at the time. It was the biggest thing in the world to me. And I got through it, and I was so petrified anytime the client had, pushed back. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pull out. I'm going to lose this shit. It's not going to work. Like, I was so insecure with myself, and it just kept going through the motions of getting through a project ending and reevaluating that situation and realizing like, yo, you had it the whole time. Like, why were you nervous? They came to me because I have an expertise. I have a skill. I have the knowledge. Stop second guessing yourself. And I took a huge pivot in my career when obviously I met Puff. That was obviously a great cosign for me to know, like, you clearly know what the fuck you're doing.
So when did you kind of meet him? Like, what year was this?
Oh God. I think like 2016, something like that. I ain't gonna lie. A day with Puff can feel like a year. So like time is really foggy. So I get really like lost in the exact times, but it was something somewhere around that. Yeah.
So how did you like encounter him? What was kind of like the backstory to that?
Great backstory. So somebody who worked for him, well, actually one of my best friends now, Los, worked at his marketing firm that was in existence at the time called Blue Flame. He ran their social. He was, this is when Instagram was really blowing up. Like everybody was going to Instagram heavy. And he hit me up on Instagram. He's like, yo, I work for Puff. I do stuff for Ciroc. Would love to work with you. And I went to his personal Instagram. I was like, I don't work for Puff. Like, lying ass. Like, you got 500 followers. I was like, there's no way in hell. So I just egged him for a minute, and he kept being persistent. Like, yo, what's up? And so eventually I reached out, I had a conversation with him. I could tell from his tone that he wasn't lying. And then he like went and followed me on Puff's pages. It's like, oh shit, this is real. Okay. And we actually never talked about Puff after that. We actually developed our own relationship and became homies. And then like a year later, a Puff conversation came around when he was like, yo, they want to push heavy on Ciroc Social. We love what you're doing. Would you be interested in leading that? I was like, cool. it's a real business, so I had to go through the formalities of an interview, which I had never interviewed for like a real creative job ever. So I was again panicking my ass off. I was like, what the hell do I do? Like, I'm not the interviewee type. I went and bought a suit. I was like researching the person who was going to interview me. I felt so uncomfortable, and I go in for the interview, and the lady at the time was like, I must definitely say more of like an old head. And I swear to God, from the moment she walked in, she just did not like me. I could just feel the energy when she walked in. She was like, "I'm not hiring this dude." Like,
Just bad vibes.
It was bad vibes. And I think like my tie kind of flipped over a little bit. And so she like pointed something out. She's like, "Yo, your tie's backwards." And I was like, "Oh," and it killed my fucking confidence. I was done. I was like, "Well, I didn't get it. This is a waste. I hope I can return this suit." And we went through some questions, and I could literally just feel her energy was like, "This isn't the guy." And so it was coming toward the end. She was actually taking my ticket to validate to get the fuck out. And Puff's day-to-day manager, Eli, happened to be walking by and saw me sitting down. And he was like, "Yo, who are you? What you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm Dunnie. I'm here to interview for head of Ciroc Social." And he was like, "Yo, we're looking for that?" Yeah, he's like, "Let me see your portfolio real quick." Went online, have my whole portfolio on my website. He looked at it, and he didn't say anything. Like, "I'll be back." And he just dipped. And I'm like, "Yo, where's my valet ticket? I'm trying to get the fuck out of here." I'm like demoralized. I'm like, "Oh my God, how do I go tell my girl like I fucked this up?" Like, I was going through so many emotions in my head. And then I go to get the ticket, and he's like, "Yo, you want to come meet him?" Because Puff actually had walked by. Of all days, Puff walked by and was in the office. It was the most frightening thing ever. And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go sit with this man. Like, I just demolished myself in this interview. Why the fuck would I want to go sit with him? Like, no." And in the back of my mind, though, I yelled at myself. I was like, "Don't be a punk. Don't be a bitch about this. Like, this is your one opportunity. You complained about it for years. You're literally 12 steps away from potentially changing your life. Go sit down." I sit down. Puff does what Puff does. He told me to sit on the couch. I sit down, I get comfortable. He's like, "Nah, come over here." So like I stumble. I'm like, "Oh shit." So we go sit at this table. And at the time too, this is Puff, right? He's wearing like a wife beater and a do-rag and basketball shorts in $1 million office on Sunset. And I'm wearing a full suit. He's just chilling. He's like, "How are you?" And so we had a conversation, and we didn't talk about creative at all. He started asking me questions about like, "Yo, what's your favorite movie? Like, what'd you do yesterday?" Like, he was throwing me off so much. But I was like, you know what? At this point, I have nothing to lose because I know I didn't get the Ciroc job. It's fuck it. So we just had a real conversation, and he was on his phone. And turns out the entire time he was on his phone, he was going through all my work. Oh, wow. The whole conversation. He was scrolling all the way down to like my first Instagram post. Like, he was studying my whole life. And he asked me one question. He was like, "Yo, if you could change something about my social, what would you do?" And I looked at his page, and I was like, "You post too much. Your content looks like shit. And I wish that you would be more of a storyteller."
Were you that blunt?
I was that blunt. I'm that blunt in general. And I was like, "You know what? You're just gonna know how I am, bro. Like, your shit looks like trash." And he was like, "Okay, cool." And that was it. He shook my head. He was like, "Great to meet you." And I get a call the next day from Los, and he was like, "Yo, what did you say to this dude?" He was like, "Everybody's talking about you. This nigga, he loves you. What the fuck did you say?" And I was like, "I honestly don't know." I was so in a haze when I left the office. I was like, "I didn't get this shit." I was like, "I blew it." I was like, one of my idols, one of the person I look up to the most. I think I cursed at him. I don't know. So, and then eventually, I got offered the job, and that started a huge pivot in my career.
Oh wow! A few people started asking questions already, so we can just like kind of add that into this bit. So someone said, "What project are you most proud of?"
Oh! I love this question. All right, Bad Boy Tour. That was a huge one for me. I've always wanted to do a tour, and I got to work on the tour from the inception all the way to the end. So all the collateral, all the marketing, I worked with Puff. I even got to learn stage design. So me and him designed a few of the all 3 stages that we had. I did the on-screen content. Again, all the marketing stuff, all the Instagram stuff, some of the tour merch. It was actually wild. Our first show in Brooklyn, as I got off the train to go to the Barclays Center, I saw bootleggers with my designs. And that was like the dumbest thing in the world to me. I was like, yo, my shit's at fire. They're already bootlegging and they're selling it back to me. So that was a great accomplishment. And too, during that tour, we were not completely sold out. So we were at like 60% sold at the beginning of tour. And me and my boy Los utilized social media in real time and sold out that tour city by city as we went. So that was a big task. It was a huge undertaking. And I was extremely grateful for it because I was fucking tunnel vision. Nothing couldn't tell me we were not selling out these tickets. Like I was gonna sell out this shit. I really thought I was Puff, and this was like really my tour, and I was about to go on stage every night. The mindset I put myself in is like, we're gonna sell these tickets.
So is that kind of like the mindset that you put in every project that you work on?
Yep. When I got with Puff, it really taught me how to get tunnel vision on nothing can stop me from getting to my end goal. If I know I need to get to 1 million in sales, I'm going to get to 1 million in sales. Realistically, I'm gonna fucking push it to 2 million in sales, and we're gonna do whatever it takes. And I definitely developed like a very aggressive personality when it comes to what I do, because I understand so much in the realms of creative and marketing and digital and strategy that I blend all these things together. So when I know what it takes to get us there, I'm gonna fucking get us there. I don't care. Like, you can't tell me differently.
So just a quick question. So what's your kind of outlook on going through like a conventional creative role? So like working for, let's say, Nike in their as like an intern and then working your way up versus kind of like the route that you've taken?
So both have pros and cons, right? Like, you go that more traditional route, you're going to get great education. You're going to get, very in tune with that company and understand the inner wings to grow. And then obviously you develop relationships within that company. You leverage that company for your own personal stuff, and and hopefully you make it to the top. The only downfall is that a good majority of the time your creative is still theirs. Like, them niggas own that. You don't own that. So you can be in the streets talking your talk like, yeah, I did so and so and so and so, but it's not really your shit. Like, if they wanted to, they could slap you with that paperwork and like, yo, you gotta take all your shit down. It's your, it's theirs. My route, I own a big majority of my stuff, or at least I'm in partnership, or I can at least utilize the work that I've done and publicize it to get my work. There's nobody really holding me back unless I don't put it out because it's fucking trash. That happens a lot though too, because I still do some stuff it's like trash. I'm like, don't even put my name on it too. I definitely have done some like NDAs. I'm like, no, you know what? Y'all can just keep this shit and keep it away from me, because I don't want nobody to know I did this. I love the bag a lot too, so there are projects I'll take and I'll be like, all right, just be quiet about this.
Give me all the accolades.
Yeah, I treat some projects kind of like never mind, I'm not gonna use that term. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have one question here as well. This is kind of like more about your working with other artists. So someone said, how did the chance come about to work with Chris Brown, and how did you work on, and what did you work on? Which is very interesting, because it was just like yesterday, or has it been before then?
Oh man, I'll be honest, the Chris Brown stuff is actually super new right now, and I don't want to go into too much details. Like, give me like a week and some change and I'll talk about it.
I
but I'll pivot to somebody else though, because there's a bunch of artists I work with though. Shit, I can't even think of an artist off the top of my head. Jesus, I worked with so many people. This is awkward now. I'll talk about Hit Boy. Hit Boy is a good friend. I met him through just honestly networking. It's like somebody I didn't know knew him, and we just had a great conversation. And he was like, yo, you should go meet Hit. I'm like, Hit who? He's like, Hit Boy. I was like, the producer, like Watch the Throne, like Niggas in Paris, like that dude. He was like, yeah. So I go and I meet him, and I meet him at his crib. He's very, very introverted too. Like, he's a very shy guy. He was just like me at that time. So it was like two weirdos were in the room who didn't want to talk to each other. And we kind of let the art speak for each other. Like, he'd play me music, I'd catch a vibe. And by the end of that session that day, I had created artwork for one of his artists, and he loved it. And I did it in real time. And it was a big deal. So we developed a relationship based off of that. I worked with him for some months, helped him develop a few things, launched a project. Our communication, though, at that time, I regret it now more than ever, though, was not as strong as I wanted it to be. I was always very petrified of being too pushy, and making him not feel like, you know, either he was in control or like it was all about me or my ideas. Because that's how my brain was at that time. Like, I knew what was right, but I had a very, very hard time articulating that with like a client or with a partner. I would just be like, your shit sucks. I'm the best. Like, I didn't know how to really have a healthy conversation with them and really like grow creative. So that was like a learning experience when I parted ways, when I decided to go do something else. I had re-looked back at that situation like, man, I wish I had developed better lines of communication between me and him, and we probably could have done so much bigger, better things.
Wow. Someone else asked the question. So person said, you mentioned that you're always learning. What are you currently learning, and what do you think creatives should be learning right about now, especially because like we're in a global pandemic and everything?
That's a great question. This global I was about to say global pandemic. This global pandemic, it really is. I'm not even going to front. To me, this has shown that you cannot be a one-trick pony when it comes to your creativity. You have to be fucking multifaceted. You have to know as much as you can. Do not just be, oh, I'm solely Photoshop, I don't fuck with Illustrator. Oh, I'm Premiere, I don't want to do After Effects. And I don't want to learn Cinema 4D. Like, no, all my guys, I literally yell at them at least once a week and push them to start crossing over into other platforms, start learning other things. I've made graphic designers who's never edit before learn how to video edit. Because like, no, you're going to learn these skills, because trust me, you're going to need them shits. Like, it is crucial out here. And I think when the pandemic hit, it really showed that companies are, for one, even more fucking cheap now, but they have a high expectation to kind of go to somebody who can be very one-stop shop. Even though I don't suggest that, but I think that's what they're kind of looking for. Even if it's like a basic social media edit, right? They're still looking for you to have a knowledge of social media and like how that content is going to perform well and bring that into the edit. Like they have a high expectation of us now. So you need to be able to adapt to that. It's not a place now where they have full graphic departments and stuff. They don't even have offices any fucking more. So like, yo, how can we cut corners and save bread? If I can just give it all to you, they'll just do that.
That's true. Yeah, definitely. That makes so much sense.
It's coffee hitting, by the way. I'm like really in my vibe.
Yeah, in your vibe. How was the time? It's like 10:30. Okay, cool. The questions are here. Someone said, when did you decide to not take the conventional route of working in a normal office job? Did you just go jobless until you got into a creative role that was progressive?
So I had some real regular jobs. Like I had a few like completely basic jobs. I worked at Starbucks for a few months, got fired. I worked at Staples, quit. I worked at a skate park, quit. Because I had to, like, my mom was like, you know, get a job. But I hated all them things, and I was always constantly hustling creative on the side. It wasn't until I think a Starbucks job where I was like slaving at Starbucks. Like I was putting in like 80-hour weeks and made like $700. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was like, I was aching and stuff. Like I remember just like going to the car, and it was at an airport too. So like I had to walk from one terminal to another in the dark at cold and shit. I was like, this is terrible. I was like, for coffee, it's not even my shit. I was like, I'm not doing this no more. It's like, I would rather sacrifice everything, do $20 flyers a day, a week, or whatever, and live off of being a creative than keep hustling for somebody else's shit. And it was a long journey of being able to sustain myself as a full-time creative. I was lucky to be with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. You know, she was doing her school thing. We were willing to huff it out together. You know, we would take care of each other. But there was a time, especially when I left my town and came to LA, really doing like the big sacrifice, because I was like promised a job as a creative director at a Christian music label, which I did not want, but I just saw creative director and I was like, I'll take it. And I jumped. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. Ran out here, they went fucking bankrupt like the week I came out here, and they weren't telling me anything. So I'm like burning through cash because I was supposed to get like an advance when I started. I was wilding out, and before I knew it, I was flat fucking broke. They're like, this isn't happening anymore. I was supposed to have an apartment and everything. I had no place to live. I'm sneaking in and out of my girlfriend's place that night. I got super sick from not using the bathroom and taking showers, and I was hustling. I was ready to give it up and call it quits. And I remember the morning, like my girlfriend, she like pushed me awake, and she was like, her name's Chanel. Sorry, it's my wife. So Chanel pushed me awake, and she was like, "Yo, I found us some money." And I was like, "What?" Well, I was like, "Where?" And she woke up that morning and got on Craigslist. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Craigslist, if you guys use that, but Craigslist is like an open forum for posting for jobs and stuff and gigs. And she went on Craigslist and started emailing like 700 people or some wild number like that, and found some money for some freelance gigs. And that literally became my life for 3 years, was getting freelance work off of Craigslist. I treated it like a full-time job. I woke up at 8. I would check the forums in multiple cities all around the United States every 2 hours. And I would send messages, send portfolio links, send anything they needed. Sometimes it was even like spec work. I was sending at least 100 to 150 emails a day looking for work. Sometimes it was work that was like, hey, $10, I need this pimple removed, up to like, hey, we have a menu for $500. Like, I was hustling my ass off through Craigslist and fighting through that, because at that time too, we literally blew so much bread. We have $40 to last 2 people meals and gas and bills for like 2 weeks. Like, it was a very rough time.
What I've kind of taken from this so far is that you were ready to give up, but then you kind of like, through the support of your wife now, you're able to like keep pushing. And remember, I told you about the girl that I've spoken to that wants to kind of quit her pursuit of being like a TV presenter and whatnot. What advice, if she's on right now, what advice would you have for someone that's kind of like reached that peak and they're like ready to just give up?
It's always hard. It's always hard when you feel like you don't see the end of the tunnel. I struggle with it. Again, I struggle with this shit every day, right? Even some of the projects I have right now that I'm like, this shit seems impossible to get there. I tell myself every day before I go to sleep at night, like, yo, I'm going to start tomorrow and I'm a fucking beast. I'm going to do everything I feel that I can control to push me one step further toward my end goal. I tell my team all the time, like, if you give yourself 150% every day, you're never going to end the day feeling like you lost or feeling like you're not getting it. Like, if you half-ass your dream or you half-ass your steps, you get a half-ass result. So you can, in a sense too, you can only blame yourself for feeling like you're not getting there. Like, yeah, there's things there's things that we can't control, right? Like, there's people we work with we can't control, there's situations we can't control. I get it. But the only thing that you have is like, you can control your intentions and your actions. If it's sending emails, if it's practicing, if it's watching YouTube videos, getting better, like, there's always things you can do to get yourself ready for when that time comes. Don't be in pursuit of the opportunity. Be in pursuit of getting yourself ready for the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect. Okay, that's actually amazing advice. We're about to take a quick break before we launch into like the bulk of questions, because loads of people are sending questions through. So we're gonna go into our Q&A after this break. So if you have any questions, start asking and we'll get them answered. Thank you, guys.
I was born to do this. I was born to do this. It just is what it is. When you know what's right in your gut and it's your job, you have to fight for it. I'm relentless. I don't care. We have to get to a championship. We have to win a ring every time. I touch everything within the realms of being creative. And if there's something else I want to go learn or I don't know, I go do it. And with knowing all that, as I direct, I'm able to be more hands-on. Some dope characteristics for a creative director for Revolt. It should be so simple. Are you you? Are you proud of who you are? I love everything there is to be about me. I love being Black. I love culture. I love art. It's just me.
Okay, great. So we're back now. We're just going to dive straight into the questions. So someone's asked, do you have any advice for freelancers getting big clients?
Protect yourself. Make sure before you even jump into it, you ironclad paperwork. Protect yourself. Be very, very clear on scope, expectation, what they want, what you want, deadlines, timelines, all that shit. And it gets intimidating, especially as a freelancer. Sometimes when you get like a big budget project, you feel like, you know, they have all the control. They're the ones who can really dictate everything. No, fuck that. Like, they came to you, you're now that person. Like, own that shit. If you don't have a team around you, I'm sorry, that sucks. You have to kind of adopt a bunch of roles within that too, kind of being project manager, client liaison. It is what it is, but own the situation and don't let the money, like, it's fucked up to say, like, you know, get a job for $1 million, right? That $1 million is going to be in your brain more than the project. You have to train yourself out of that, being more focused on the project and just being secure in the fact that, like, I'm getting paid, great. And then just live in the world of creativity. I used to fuck up a lot where the money of the project would be my sole focus. Like, that's just part of my problem is I love money too much. Like, it used to really like be my only focus, and it would hinder me from the creative at times. So like in the beginning stages of giving, you know, concepts or briefs or whatever, though, it wasn't my best because I was already spending the money. I was on some rapper shit. I was dropping money before I even had it because I was like, I'm getting all that. So like, you just have to stay so focused on the creative and making sure you're protected and feel comfortable within the situation of that project. Like, do not start until terms are ironclad. Don't be a dick about it, but make sure you just feel comfortable. So when you're going back and forth and you have to, you know, meet all the tent poles underneath the project, like, you feel good. Do not let that money cloud your judgment and cloud your creativity.
That makes sense. The next person's asked, what is a typical day in the life of Dunnie?
Man, my son might sound a little crazy though, because I'm also a father and a husband, and I have my teams. So I wake up like 6, 7, jump into the dad mode, check emails, check text, give myself. I have a little bit of a say hour window before the real day starts, and I also have an East Coast team as well, so I kind of try and catch up with them a little bit. By about 9, I jump right into it, and from 9 to 6, it is right now in my life. It's phone calls, Zooms, emails, texts. It's a lot of phone calls. Honestly, it's a lot of fucking phone calls. It is exhausting. And then by about 6, 7, I'll stop and I'll jump back into, you know, daddy mode, take care of my daughter for a little bit, get her to closer to bedtime. Then I'll start back up between 9 to 11, finalize any type of emails and communications from things people need from me. I'll definitely play Call of Duty for a little bit, and then I will jump back into any type of like revisions or just having to review content. And then I'll end my day around like 12:31 if I haven't like passed out, and then I start back up again. And that's 7 days a week.
Oh, wow. And we haven't actually even spoken about Revolt and like how you kind of got the role finally as a creative director. So if you could just like give a quick brief as to like what your current role is, because you said you have a team like East
I'll try. You know, clearly I'm not quick, but I'll be as fast as I can about it though. Obviously, so working with Puff, I got introduced to Revolt just through my job being his creative director. So I worked with them over the years. I'm not gonna lie, predating me, I thought Revolt was mad corny. It didn't connect to me by himself. I was like, okay, it's a black music network, and I don't really fuck with it, to be honest. Like, everything it felt like a cheesy MTV. Even more like a watered down MTV. Like, it wasn't cool to me, to be honest. And I would just, you know, see it cool. We had interactions, we'd have projects, but I was like, I don't really care for this. And when my boy Dion, who's chief brand officer of Combs, he had went over to Revolt and bugged it on me like, bro, we need you. I need you. Come do this. And I got to see the infrastructural changes, like leadership was changing. A lot of the key things for the company to grow in the right direction were happening. So I was like, okay, if this really is real, I feel comfortable now being able to go there and being given the power to make the proper change to make Revolt what it's supposed to be. it was a little bit of back and forth because I freelanced for them for like a year and some change, even through the pandemic. And then November of last year is when they finally convinced me to commit, because I was definitely tiptoeing into it. Like, yeah, nah, no, I'm good. But you know, the stars align. We have great leadership now, and for the first time ever, too, like Revolt is the leadership is literally like niggas like me, so it's great.
Nice. So back to the question. Someone said, "How do you manage being a big player in the scene? Do you get imposter syndrome?"
Yo, that's hilarious. For one, I'm not a big player in this by any shape or form. I'm just somebody who's worked really fucking hard and blessed to be here. The work that comes to me is just really based off of sweat equity. I'm just me. So I feel comfortable in every fucking situation I'm in. Don't matter who's in the room. Jay, Puff, Kanye, Pharrell, whatever. Like, I earned my spot at the table, so I don't feel any type of way about it. I'm honestly just one of the people who are just constantly grateful that my job is to be a creative. I get to be a creative for a living. Like, I have friends, my family, like a lot of them do a bunch of like, you know, Herbie ass jobs I know they don't like, and they have to deal with that. I don't deal with that. I deal with stupid fucking people, but it's still under the umbrella of getting the creative. Like, this is the best job in the world. Like, why would I feel anything other than complete joy?
Yeah, that makes sense.
No imposter syndrome. I'm always the realest nigga in the room because I'm me.
That's true. Someone's asked, how do you handle criticisms towards your work as a creative?
Say it one more time. Sorry.
How do you handle criticism towards your work as a creative?
Brilliant question. In the beginning, I was the most sensitive fucking person ever. If you said anything to me, I'd want to cancel the job. I'd be like, yo, you know what? Fuck them. Nah, this ain't the right job. This ain't for me. How do they not trust me? They don't think this is hot. And so obviously, like I said before, through every, job, I got a little bit better. Now it's better because when you reach a certain position, people do not question you as much. They pretty much, follow you blindly, which is great. But in that in-between time, though, when you're building your way up, communication is everything. And being able to argue and push what you believe is right through is like the most important thing. Somebody can give you criticism that can be coming from a really like personal or biased place, or like, just being a dick. You got to be able to kind of like a lawyer to argue that down and prove your point on why this is the best thing to do for this. So like, that's an awkward thing when it comes to being a creative, like nobody ever really talks about, is really being able to articulate and push your idea through to people who may not get it, want to hear it. Like you have to kind of like be like a legal. You have to be a law. You have to be a lawyer. You have to really be ready to like get into that courtroom and be like, nah, this is why this logo hot. Like this shit needs to be this small right here. Don't push this shit to the side. Like you have to really make them a believer. I think the thing I have on my side is I got really good at being able to pitch and help people feel my energy because I'm so passionate with my creativity that I will fucking argue with you all day. And I think maybe you can feel it from my tone, but I'm not backing the fuck down. Like y'all came to me, so I got the sauce. I will get us there. Shut up and trust in me. That's pretty much how it goes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Someone said, how did you create jobs for others? Is it networking or people reaching out to you?
It's a mixture of both. A lot of the people who work for me now, some of them are friends. Some of them I got introduced through other people. My core team right now at Revolt is kind of like a gumbo of creatives, people that I just met or know from different places and brought them here. Right now, my career, though, I'm a little standoffish with people who come at me because everybody kind of looks at my job and they think they're like, oh, great, he's got access to the bag. He can put me on. And it's like, they don't have a true understanding, though, when a person gets to a certain level, everything is on them. Like, I just can't give out opportunities and give out bags. I don't know if you're trusted. I don't know if you can actually deliver my vision. And I'm the one who's stuck with that responsibility. So if I pay you 50 grand for this show and you bring me back some bullshit IGTV stuff and it looked like you shot it on your iPhone, like, well, it's all on me. So it's like, it's hard for me to be as open with creators right now. Like, I kind of do a lot of stalking. Like, I watch creators from afar, you know, I'll look at their work, I'll look at their progression, I'll see how open they are to talking about their process so I can kind of get an idea for their vibe. And when I feel like somebody is a right fit, I'll reach out, or then I'll build that bridge. I've had some creatives though who are just mad fucking aggressive. Like my boy George, like he stalked me for like 2 years and wouldn't stop hitting me up on Instagram. Wow. Like it got to the point I was like, bro, you a stalker? And then I ran into him in Atlanta, and he said his Instagram handle because I didn't even know his real fucking name. And I was like, oh, Saint, damn, bro, this is really you. And I was like, yo, did this nigga just fly here to like really have this conversation? But he had actually got booked on a gig. And that was a good, I mean, that worked for him. I'm not going to say don't stalk me, because I definitely, my block list is mad deep. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, be aggressive, but don't be that aggressive though. Like, I'd rather you, if you want to reach out to me, just like tag me on some work, or reach out to like Dave or Mercedes or people on my team and just put your best work in front of me. Not on some like bougie shit, but you really have one chance to make a great impression with me. And I just want to see your best fucking work. I don't want to see what you think is like, oh yeah, I just worked with this hot rapper who's like a trap. I don't care. Just put the best shit in front of me, and I'll make my decision based off of that if it's time to really like engage or not. But a lot of creators I have conversations with, I'm kind of like grooming them for like in a year or two when I know they're going to be ready to come over to this side of the fence. So
that makes sense. We've got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to rush through the questions now. But someone's asked, how do you overcome feeling stuck about your career path when you've been doing it for your whole life and now everything feels dull?
So I always try and have other things going on. I never stay on one project, so I keep variety in my creativity. Even though like Revolt is a big undertaking every single day, and we have a billion things we do there, I still keep side projects for myself. So I always feel like I'm pushing myself, and I'm constantly looking for the next level. I never stay stagnant with it. So if I was, you know, a photographer on one project, next time I want to push myself to be director for a freelance gig. And then next time I want to push myself to be art director on that gig, or just try and take over the whole fucking thing, which is usually what I do. So yeah, I keep pushing for more, and different industries too. Like, not to like spill the beans on anything though, but I've been talking with Motorola to do some stuff with a bunch of their tech products. Haven't really done anything in that industry like that, but I know how to fucking sell, and I know how to especially reach our people. So I feel like I could be a great tool to them. So that's like a new challenge I'm trying to attack.
Awesome. And then I'll make this the last question. So someone said, how do you overcome feeling stuck when trying to come up with new ideas?
This is a beautiful question. So I learned over time to create an environment that is healthy for me to get creative, right? Like, especially because my job is so fast paced, sometimes I have to just turn creative on like in an instant. So I know the things I need to get me there fast. I'll give y'all the list real quick. I need candles. I need green tea. I need music. I need a dark room. I need to be by myself. I can put all those things together in like under 60 seconds, and I can zone in and snap into my creativity. And the longer I have to be in that space, the better my creative will be. So yeah, that's always what works for me. Like, I can literally do that right now. I got 2 candles lit over there. My wife's candles, that's for her company. Yes, them shits is right there in the corner, keeping me in my vibe. And I can literally turn it on now, literally like a light switch.
Oh wow, this has been so awesome. So what's kind of like your final tip to anyone that's trying to kickstart their career and not trying to go through the conventional, traditional route?
Be fucking relentless. See your end goal. Put your goals on paper. Try and meet them every single day. Even if you don't meet them every day, right? You're taking one step closer to meeting those. So don't be so stuck in the short-term wins. Constantly think about the long-term victory when it comes to your path in your career. None of this shit is quick. Like, it may seem, for a lot of people, they tell me all the time, it may seem like it's quick for me. Like, oh, you just on da-da-da. No, I had like 7 years of bullshit, 7 years of shitty clients, people stealing money, like just being completely taken advantage of, talked down to, especially as a Black creative too. Like I never really felt like it was my place. I was just grateful to take work and never felt that I could speak up in the room. Especially the higher I got up too. I remember being in boardrooms at Fox, working on the floor and room full of old white people and just me. And I had braids at the time and I'm wearing fucking jewelry, like I'm all geechied out. And I'm like, am I supposed to be here? Like this shit is never easy. Like it's not easy, especially as a Black creative. It's never easy, to be honest. Like we're really made to think that we're not allowed to be there. We should be grateful for the opportunity. And the thing I hope to do with my position and the exposure I have from my job is to flip that shit on its head. We are supposed to be here. We are the ones driving culture. We are driving $1 trillion industry. The Black dollar is OD, right? It is the most powerful thing in the world. And we're the ones driving that art and that marketing, that narrative. So we have to own that power and stop feeling like we just should be grateful to be in the room. Fuck that. Like we own the room. Yeah. So yeah, my bad. I keep going on. I'll go on a rant. I'll go deep.
We can do a part 2. That's fine. So, that's probably me. Sorry. Okay, perfect. So where can people find you if they want like more advice and just to know, like just know what you're up to on your day to day?
Definitely follow me on my Instagram at Dunnie, Dunnie. Shouts out to the Instagram people for giving me my name. You can reach me out on there. Honestly, I get mad busy. I'm not as like open on social as I used to be. So like you'll probably see more pictures like my kid and like coffee than anything. Like I don't really like talking about work like that. But you know, I'll post things as they happen. I'll be a lot more vocal this year with Revolt, especially as we have things coming out that I'm passionate that me and my team have done. So you can definitely watch that. And I think just the last drop on that too is like for people to have an understanding, like my team at Revolt too is a lot of young Black creatives. Kind of by design in the sense of like they were some of the best people around me and I was able to convince them to come over here. So when you guys look at Revolt going forward to know it really is a by us network. Like there are people who look exactly like you behind the helm pushing that and making sure it stays true. That's the biggest thing too, is like there's no cap over here. This is the most truthful, honest network you're gonna get. Like we feel you and we bringing it here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been so insightful and amazing. So we'll just wrap up here and yeah, thank you all for tuning in.
Appreciate y'all. I would absolutely